everyone, welcome back to our 18th episode of J-Syd InstaLive and our very first episode for 2022. In today's episode, we're going to be talking all about something very famous from Japan. It's green and leafy. That's right, tea, or more specifically, the tea ceremony, called Chado in Japanese. And to tell us more about Chado, we're inviting on our next special guest, Ms Ryoko Freeman, from the Chado Urasenke Tankokai Sydney Association Incorporated. So please look forward to learning more about this fascinating part of Japanese culture, as well as a tea ceremony demonstration at the end. As always, if you've missed any of our previous episodes, you can always find them on our Instagram by going to the video tab and scrolling down, or else you can head to our website, click on Information and Culture, and you'll find the archives there. Now, let's say hello to Ryoko Freeman.
Konnichiwa.
Hello, Ryoko.
Hello, Jessica. My name is Ryoko Freeman of Chado Urasenke Tankokai Senior Association Incorporated. I'm a Chief of Administration, and I show you or introduce you Chado today.
Excellent. I'm really looking forward to learning more.
Chado is usually known as the Japanese tea ceremony in English, but it is not a ceremony. It is a spiritual and aesthetic principle for the refinement of the self. We call, the do means a way, and then cha is a tea. So chado means the way of tea. The tea culture came from China in 12th century, and then 16th century, wealthy merchant Sen no Rikyu introduced a very, very simple aspect. So he was the first person to emphasize several aspects of the ceremony, including rustic simplicity. And then now, the principle of Chado are wa, kei, sei, jaku. Wa is harmony, and K is to respect each other or host and guests, and to the say is to purify. So we clean everything before or in front of the guests, and then jaku is tranquility.
Thank you for telling us more about Chado and that it's not actually a ceremony like we call in English.
Looks like ceremony, because it's a quiet and a tranquil atmosphere. But it's a self-training for guests, training for themselves, the hosts themselves.
So can you tell me a little bit more about your Chado Urasenke Sydney?
The Chado Urasenke Sydney has established in 1973. So almost 50 years. So next year we are a big celebration for 50th year. We introduced to the tea culture, tea ceremony in New South Wales and Canberra and some other neighboring countries. We also a charity group, so we do charity work, and especially in Kaula, we raise the money for the Kaula Japanese garden. And also, the members are attending the classes, seminars, and we have an annual chakai once a year, mainly botanic gardens and to the public.
When do you hold your annual chakai?
And this year, hopefully, we will have in maybe October or something, if the COVID case is going down.
Fingers crossed that it can go ahead this year.
Oh, yes.
Can you explain a little bit about the equipment and the tools that you use in Chado?
I'm standing on a tatami mat, and we use the tatami mat. Normally, the common size is 4.5 tatami mat. So this is the alcove area. Yeah, and then there is a scroll which says Ichigo Ichie. It's a very common phrase, once in a lifetime. Normally written by either headmaster or monk. quite common, monk or priest. And there is a down there is an incense container. Today I use the egg, Easter egg kind of, and on a paper pad. And then left hand side, we put flower vase. And then flowers, I arranged the Japanese wind today. We normally use a seasonal flower. And then the flower arranged is not like a ikebana-like arranged, but just to put a simple flower just there as in the field. And then there is another one. We set up the iron kettle. So this is a host can make tea here. Inside is the heater. Normally we use charcoal, but in apartment we can't. So this is we call brazier, so heating area. And then on top of that, the kettle, iron kettle. So boiling the water. And then beyond that brazier, we put a border like we call kurosaki. It's a border. It's a border of the making tea area and other area.
Are you happy for me to move on and ask you a little bit about yourself and your students today?
Of course, yeah.
The first question, how long have you been practicing Chado?
Probably more than 40 years. I have been teaching for 20 years, more than 20 years, yeah. Still, I have to learn a lot. Still learning.
What first inspired you to start learning Chado?
When I was 20 years old, in uni student, I should learn tea ceremony. Just, sprang in my heart, nothing else. I didn't know anything about tea. Then, I started for, ongoing, but, 7 years gap. But I'm still, enjoying.
What do you enjoy most about Chado? What has kept you going for all these years practicing it?
I like beautiful things and studying something, studying new things. Tea ceremony contains all, Japanese culture. So I can study everything. I like, cooking. I like sweet making. I like, to know a lot of, complicated temae. Temae is a procedure of the performance. So I like, more complicated temae, more attractive. So, but, still I'm learning, until the end of my life. I hope study a lot, but still, I think, when I was dying, not enough for my life. Okay, the time is not life to learn.
And what about your students? Because I understand you have your students joining you today.
I have 5 students here. 2 students. Emiko-san.
My name is Emiko. I studied, my friend's mother was a tea teacher. So I've been learning nearly 4 decades now. And I continue to learning because it's still ongoing learning process. And there's still a lot to learn as Ryoko Sensei told us.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, Emiko. Next, Emiko will be a guest. She will be a host.
Hello, Siska. My name is Sachiko. I had been practicing for 20 years. How I started, because my mother was learning tea ceremony as well. So my mom took me the tea ceremony teacher's class and then I started.
And why ongoing?
Because I love tea ceremony. The things I like the most is the traditional Japanese art. So that's why I keep going, and then it's a learning for the life as well.
Thank you, Sachiko. And next.
Sorry, I'm too tall. So my name is Yu, and I'm from Taiwan. So how I started, because in Taiwan is always very close to Japan, so we always know a lot of Japanese culture thing. What I studied just because I like a matcha and like the pizza okashi. So that's how I started. I thought it just come to for afternoon tea, and then I really love it. So it's really fun.
Okay. Thank you. And next.
My name is Irina. I'm from Kazakhstan. Tea ceremony for me was new and interesting experience. After I feel more good, I think tea collecting more people, more different people, nice atmosphere. I'm enjoy how many?
How many years have we done?
8. Yeah, 8 years.
Good.
Thank you.
Look, Irina can make kimono herself.
Wow, maybe she'll have to
Amazing,
teach me.
amazing woman. So, what's next question?
I would like to ask, can we have a demonstration of Chado today?
We show you the very basic, simple temae today, and which is uscha hiraremae. Before starting, I show you the sweets. This is a moist cake we call nerikiri. So this is for thick temae, formal temae. And then today we are going to use other sweets. This one is a dry sweet. This higashi is sugary sweets. And then left side is a traditional, we call gokabo. And then this one is for the thin tea today. It's a simple temae. This is a traditional way. And most cake is different for formal one, okay? So first, the host bringing the tea sweets. And then just like she said, please take sweet, but don't take now, later. Just before having the tea, guests have a sweet. And then next, she's bringing the mizusashi. And before, so host and guest bow and a greeting, first greeting. She's holding the water pitcher, which we call mizusashi. And I'm putting next to the brazier. Next, she takes tea bowls with all utensils, other whiskers and things, and natsume, which is a tea container. You can see the tea container, it's a ginkgo tree pattern, ginkgo leaves. That is a symbol of Urasenke. And then she brought a waste water container with a ladle. So she brought everything, all utensils, and then start the ceremony, sort of performance. First, setting in front of her, and then now, you can remember the principle of purify, say. So host has to purify everything, all utensils. First, most important utensils, tea container, natsume. This natsume, the shape from the dates. And then next, she's purified the tea scoop made by bamboo. Then out the whisker made by bamboo. And then open the kettle lid. And then pour the hot water into a tea bowl. Then hot water makes tea bowl hot, warm, and also now she's checking the whisker. And then whisk. So purify the whisker as well. And wipe off the water. To make a good tea, you have to clean, wipe off the tea bowl. Now host said, お菓子をどうぞ means please take sweet. So guests can eat sweet now. So guests take one of each. And then pass to next guest. From here, she's pour hot water. And whisking the tea. So Urasenke style is just, make big bubbles a lot. And then the end of the making bubble and whisk for surface and crush the bubbles and make a creamy latte type of tea. Now, guest is picking up the tea bowl. Tea. Because she's the only guest, just, say thank you to the host. She just appreciates the gesture and turn twice, avoid the front part. And then any mouthful she can drink. And then after that, she finger clean with the paper. And then she's now, inspection the tea bowl, because this occasion is a maybe special tea bowl which host can use. And then this tea bowl is made in Habi Kiln. Habi Kiln is a very famous kiln in Japan. So returning tea bowl, host pick up the tea bowl and start cleaning. First, pour the hot water. So this hot water has become dirty.
どうぞおしまいください。
So guest said, どうぞおしまいください. Please finish. And the host said, おしまいいたします. This is a reconfirmation. And using the cold water, to clean the whisker as well as tea bowl. So now finish most cleaning. Only one thing, Chasen in and then chashaku and a case back. So now she's cleaning the last one, the chashaku. So for the 4.5 tatami mat, we can do honjimai, which call the all utensils back to the return to the original places. And then for the next occasion, we add the cold water into a kettle. And then we finish, so put the lid on. And then we have to another lid on. So now, she finished the whole ceremony or performance. So she's going back to the kitchen and taking all the utensils back. So host and the guest final greeting. How was that?
That was amazing to have a walkthrough the entire performance.
Yeah, so that's why you can see we trained ongoing, yeah? And the movement become very beautifully.
It looks simple, but I was watching very, very intensely, and there was a lot of small things that you have to remember and do throughout this throughout the performance.
Yeah, good. And I think tea ceremony is a very good brain training.
I think I should start learning tea ceremony.
Good idea.
Ryoko, we're wrapping up now, but for people like myself and hopefully many others who would be interested in learning more about Chado and learning how to do Chado, how can they get involved? How can they learn that?
Most the tea practitioner, sort of non-Japanese practitioner, from martial art students, or people are doing like a Buddhism, meditation. The philosophy attracts to non-Japanese people. Workshop shows they try whisking or just a trial. Eh? So maybe the people are more interested in, or can I do, or sitting on a tatami mat is most difficult part for non-Japanese people, as well as the old people, very difficult. But nowadays we are using table style, so not necessarily sit on a tatami mat. What do you think, Jessica?
I would be very interested in attending a workshop.
Last year, we had a workshop in my tea house in Bura, and they enjoy tea and whisking their matcha. I think a workshop is more attract people.
Thank you very much for your time today, Ryoko, and for teaching us all about Chado.
Thank you very much, Jessica, having me. Thank you.